Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Thursday, May 19th, 2022. Big show today. NBA, Stanley Cup playoffs, Major League Baseball, WNBA, soccer, golf, my latest NBA mock draft. Masked Singer finale was last night. With a recap, we'll talk Survivor 2, news and notes, and my best bet for the day. We'll start with the NBA playoffs. Western Conference Finals. Game 1 was last night as the Golden State Warriors absolutely destroyed the Dallas Mavericks 112-87 to take a 1-0 series lead. Stephen Curry had 21 points and 12 boards and 4 assists. Luka Doncic had 27 and 4 in this game. People really are crazy with overreaction, saying, what the hell really happened to the Suns? Because of how bad Dallas looked. But Dallas, everybody has bad games. I mean, Luka's the only one that showed up. So I'm not willing to write off the Dallas Mavericks quite yet. Eastern Conference Finals resumes tonight. Game 2 between the Celtics and the Heat. 8:30 on ESPN. Right now I'm at Heat 3.5 total 215. I do not know the status of Al Horford yet. If he's out, then this line goes... or his projection goes to 6. But he has not been ruled out yet. So maybe the Celtics get him back. And it's 3.5 and 207.5. I still like the over in this game. I just feel that these offenses are better than what the total indicates. And game 1 was... very approval of that. It pretty much hit the over in the fourth quarter quite easily in blowout fashion for the Miami Heat. And right now, Al Horford questionable, Marcus Smart questionable. I think Smart's going to play. And the only one that's going to be out is Lowry. So I'm going to say the over, and I'm going to say the Celtics even this baby up at 1 apiece tonight. Just going out on a limb with a prediction here. All right, Stanley Cup playoffs. We'll recap yesterday's second-round games and look ahead to tonight's second-round games. The Hurricanes defeat the Rangers 2-1 in overtime on a game winner by Ian Cole to take a 1-0 series lead. Number 3 started the game with the game-tying goal, Sebastian Aho. Number 2 started the game with 27 saves on 28 shots, Antti Ranta. Number 1 started the game with the goal, Ian Cole. And he scored the overtime winner. And the Wild one out west, the Flames over the Oilers, 9-6. Yes, that's a real score. As Calgary takes a 1-0 series lead. Number 3 started the game with 2 goals, Blake Coleman. Number 2 started the game with a goal and 2 assists, Rasmus Anderson. Number 1 started the game with the hat trick, Matt Tkachuk. Now we look ahead to tonight's game, 7 o'clock on TNT. You have the Lightning and the Panthers. You would think this is Kenny Albert, Eddie Olczyk, and Keith Jones again. Panthers are minus 166 favorites. Lightning plus 138. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 124. Unders plus 102. Lightning plus 1.5 is minus 178. Panthers minus 1.5 is plus 146. I'm going to have the same pick as I did, I believe, on the Tuesday show, and that is the Panthers in regulation at even money. This is a good bounce back spot for them at home. And I think that under pressure in the postseason so far, they've had success. I know this is a different animal here in the Lightning, but I really do think that Florida comes through tonight. Then at 9:30 on TNT, you have the Blues and the Avalanche. The Avs are minus 240. The Blues are plus 195. Over under 7. Overs plus 116. Unders minus 142. Blues are plus 1.5 is minus 120. Avs minus 1.5 is even money. I like how the Blues played in game 1. Them and then the Rangers, I think, were similar, except the Rangers kind of blew last night. And I thought the Blues were in it the whole time and probably should have won that game. So for this game, I will go for the first period result. I'm going to say, Ooh, I'm tempted to take the Blues or tie there. I kind of like a couple things here, but I'm going to go with the tie after 1 at plus 220. I can see this being 0-0 or 1-1 after 1. But I don't feel really good about it. And I think the Blues can absolutely win this game, too, on the road. So I'm going to make a bold call here and say that they get it done. But I just didn't have the balls to pick it on the podcast as the pick for the game. All right, Major League Baseball, we'll go over yesterday's results and look ahead to today's games. You had the Brewers over the Braves 7-6-11 on a 2-run walk-off homer by Keston Hiura. Rays over the Tigers 6-1. Rockies over Giants 5-3. Twins over the A's 14-4. Dodgers over the D-backs 5-3. Red Sox over the Astros 5-1. Nats over the Marlins 5-4 and 10. Phils over the Padres 3-0. Yankees over the Orioles 3-2. Mariners over the Blue Jays 5-1. Mets over the Cardinals 11-4. Pirates over the Cubs 3-2. Rangers over the A's 6-5 and 10 on a walk-off home run by Nate Lau. Royals over the White Sox 6-2. And Reds Guardians postponed, and they're going to be playing today. Not a lot of games today. Only 8 in the board. Would have been 7 if not for the rain now between the Reds and the Guardians. 12:30 of the Yankees and the Orioles. Jordan Montgomery and Bruce Zimmerman. Yankees going for yet another sweep and for their 5th straight win. The Yankees are just streamrolling everybody at this point. They're minus 215 favorites. Ball runs plus 180. Over under 8. Overs minus 112. Unders minus 108. Yankees minus 1/2 is minus 128. Orioles plus 1/2 is plus 106. For this game, I will go with this is a hard one because places I want to go with here are pretty much not great in value. So I'm going to go full game under minus 108. I can see the Yanks winning this game like 5-1, 6-1. I won't be stunned if Baltimore wins this game outright, but I just don't have the balls to pick them to do so. Because the Yankees could be looking ahead to the White Sox series at home. So I'm going to go under for this game. I don't feel good about it. 1 o'clock, you have the Pods and the Phillies. Yu Darvish and Kyle Gibson. Phils are minus 120. Padres plus 120. Over under 4. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 118. Padres minus 1/2 is plus 164. Phillies plus 1/2 is minus 200. If it wasn't for ESPN Analytics, I'd absolutely be all over the Padres here. But they suggest Philadelphia should be favored here too. For this game, I will go with first half result tie plus 470, which I think is a lot of fun. Cardinals, Mets. You got Dakota Hudson and Chris Bassett. Mets minus 178. Cards plus 150. This just moved on the spot. Over under 7. Overs minus 122. Unders even money. Cards plus 1/2 is minus 150. Mets minus 1/2 is plus 125. This is a good one too. I like the this is a good one. I like the Cardinals first half run line plus 1/2 at minus 106. So, because I'm just not sure if it's going to be tied or Cards will have the lead. Reds Guardians. Tyler Mahle and Cal Quantrill. Guardians minus 136. Reds plus 116. Over under 8. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 118. Reds plus 1/2 is minus 196. Guardians minus 1/2 is plus 162. Tough one here too. But I'm going to go first half result Cleveland plus 110. White Sox Royals at 2 o'clock. Vince Velasquez and Carlos Hernandez. The White Sox are minus 142. The Royals are plus 120. Over under 9.5. Overs minus 106. Unders minus 114. White Sox minus 1.5 is plus 112. Royals plus 1.5 is minus 134. I'm going with the Royals straight up plus 120. 54.4% chance to win according to ESPN Analytics, and they're a plus 120 underdog. Give me the Royals. 7 o'clock, Mariners Red Sox from Fenway. George Kirby and Rich Hill. Red Sox minus 132. Mariners plus 112. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 112. Unders minus 108. Mariners plus 1.5 is minus 184. Red Sox minus 1.5 is plus 152. I'm going to go first half result, Mariners plus 145. I love George Kirby. He's really good. And I think that I don't know if Seattle's going to win this game outright, but I think that they're going to win the first half at least. Because they're only a 42% chance to win. D-backs Cubs at 7:30. Zach Gallen and Marcus Stroman. D-backs minus 110. Cubs minus 106. Over under 8. Numbers just changed on the fly. It's 116 and 102 now for the D-backs and Cubs respectively. Over under 8. Overs minus 118. Unders minus 102. D-backs minus 1.5 is plus 140. Cubs plus 1.5 is minus 170. I hate this pick. ESPN Analytics is causing me to do this. But I think the wrong team's favored here. I like the Cubs at minus 102. Not suggesting that Marcus Stroman will outpitch Zach Gallen. I just think the Cubs will win this ball game. 8 o'clock, the Rangers and the Astros. Glenn Otto and Framber Valdez. Astros minus 240, Rangers plus 176, over under 8. Overs minus 114, unders minus 105. Rangers plus 1.5 is minus 122. Astros minus 1.5 is plus 102. Tough one. Glenn Otto stinks. We know that. And Framber Valdez has been terrific. So, for this one, I will take the full game under and bank on Valdez pitching great and Otto not pitching well, but not in the game for too long kind of a deal. So, under 8 at minus 105 full game, don't feel necessarily great about that one. All right, the WNBA. We'll recap yesterday's games and look ahead to tonight's games. The Storm over the Sky, 74-71. So I was right about that game. Breanna Stewart came back from COVID protocol. Izai Magbegor led the Storm in scoring with 21 points. And for the Sky, Azura Stevens had 18. Only 2 games tonight, both night games, 10 o'clock. Commissioner's Cup game between the Lynx and the Aces. So, the Lynx are favored by 11.5, totals 167.5. That is very high. I know the Lynx stink so far this season. But something tells me that Vegas knows something. Instead, I'm going to go with the under. And also a 10 o'clock Commissioner's Cup game between the Wings and the Mercury. The Mercury are favored by 4.5, totals 160.5. I like the Mercury minus the points. I just think they're better than Dallas. I think they're going to be playing inspired in all these games because of the Griner situation. So I'm going to lay the points with the Mercury against the Wings. All right, Major League Soccer. We'll go over yesterday's results, which was a crazy day in Major League Soccer, I thought, with some of these outcomes. NYCFC over DC United 2-0. Red Bull, Chicago 3-3 draw. Philly, Miami 0-0 draw. Minnesota, LA Galaxy 1-1 draw. Seattle over Houston 1-0. Nashville over Montreal 2-1. KC over Colorado 2-1. Vancouver over Dallas 2-1. Austin over LAFC 2-1. And San Jose over Portland 3-2. Alright, so we'll get back to MLS to talk about the weekend on tomorrow's show. And now I'm going to give you a very early leaderboard at the PGA Championship. Your early leader right now is actually a tie. Robert McIntyre and John Daly at 1 under. And tied for third at even, Alex Thoren, Ryan Palmer, Sean Michiel, and Young Yoon Yang. So, there's more people that are just teeing off and getting into things. I talked about yesterday. I'm most intrigued about Tiger, obviously, how he follows up the inspiring Masters performance. So, it should be a lot of fun. And like I said, my pick to win was Justin Thomas at 16-1. Now I'm going to do my latest NBA mock draft. It should be interesting now that we know the lottery order. So this is my first mock draft post-lottery and my third one overall. Number 1, the Orlando Magic. Chet Holmgren, power forward center, Gonzaga. The Magic have their choice of 3 great players to pick from that their young core. Holmgren is the pick here due to his ability to protect the rim, shoot the 3-ball, and space the floor, and it helps that he is a great defensive player too. Number 2, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Jabari Smith, power forward, Auburn. The Thunder landing a top 2 pick is a great win for the franchise, and I love the idea of Smith on this team. With better guard play than he had in college, he'd be in a nice pot to show off his scoring abilities. Number 3, the Houston Rockets. Paolo Banchero, power forward center, Duke. The Rockets line the player here a ton of skill and upside here in Banchero. There are mixed thoughts about a front court mix of Banchero, Christian Wood, and Alperen Sengun, but he and Jalen Green together is a nice foundation long term. Number 4, the Sacramento Kings. Jaden Ivey, point guard, shooting guard, Purdue. This would be an odd fit considering the Kings already have De'Aaron Fox and Davion Mitchell, unless the team opts to move one of the 2 point guards. Ivy is super explosive, but he lacks the distribution skills. Number 5, the Detroit Pistons. Sheldon Sharp, shooting guard, Kentucky. The Pistons dropping to the 5th spot is not ideal, but it may not be a complete disaster as they have a few viable options. Sharp didn't play for Coach Cal at Kentucky, but he would be an interesting fit here in Detroit playing with Cade Cunningham with his ability to shoot the ball. Number 6, the Indiana Pacers. Keegan Murray, power forward, Iowa. The Pacers can go in a lot of different directions here. Murray does make some sense here as they can use a combo forward that has solid mid-range and is a decent defender. Number 7, the Portland Trailblazers. A.J. Griffin, small forward, Duke. This pick would make a ton of sense for the Blazers considering their need for a forward. Griffin had a really good year for Duke last year, and he came in to provide some good shooting and athleticism. Number 8, the New Orleans Pelicans from the Los Angeles Lakers. Johnny Davis, shooting guard, Wisconsin. The Pelicans really did leave a great impression on what could be after the first round playoff loss to the Suns. I feel Davis here may be their ceiling in terms of his draft position. But the fit here is interesting with all the guards and wings the team has, considering that Davis does just about everything well. Number 8, the San Antonio Spurs. Jalen Duren, center, Memphis. The Spurs have some options here at their selection, and they should have their eyes on a big with their first of 3. Duren has double-double potential, and he would fit nicely with this newer, younger Spurs core. Number 10, the Washington Wizards. Benedict Mathurin, shooting guard, small forward, Arizona. The Wizards taking Mathurin here would be interesting considering they have an abundance of wings. Mathurin really broke out in a big way this past season and is your classic 3-and-D wing that a lot of teams will covet. Number 11, the New York Knicks. Jeremy Schoen, small forward, Baylor. The Knicks ideally would like a guard here, but Schoen may be too good to pass up on. Schoen is someone that really showed off an elite skill set this past season with the Bears, and I like the idea of him and R.J. Barrett together on the wing. Number 12, the Oklahoma City Thunder from the Los Angeles Clippers. Achaya Ajbaji, shooting guard, Kansas. Ajbaji here to the Thunder feels like the right spot. He really put himself in a good position to return to school and winning the most outstanding player in the tournament to be a first-rounder. Number 13, the Charlotte Hornets. Mark Williams, center, Duke. The third Duke player in this mock I have going to Charlotte. The Hornets badly need a center, and Williams is someone who had a great tournament in which his stock rose, but he doesn't have high upside. Number 14, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Malachi Branham, shooting guard, Ohio State. A hot match was a little over a month ago until the draft is Branham with the Cavaliers, but I feel this could be a reach. He can shoot it well from three and gets into the paint often, which the Cavs can use off the bench. 15, the Charlotte Hornets from the New Orleans Pelicans. Ty Washington, point guard, shooting guard, Kentucky. The Hornets get themselves a super-duper entertaining player here in Washington. The thought of him and LaMelo Ball together is super intriguing. 16, the Atlanta Hawks. Tari Eason, power forward, LSU. The Hawks are a real candidate to trade their first-round selection because they want that second star to go with Trae Young. Eason had a breakout year for the Tigers and is an excellent defender, but has some offensive flaws. 17, the Houston Rockets from the Brooklyn Nets. Dyson Daniels, shooting guard, G League, Unite. The Rockets are quietly lucky that this pick landed in this spot. People are skeptical of Daniels due to his shooting numbers, but he is a solid defender and gets to the basket. 18, the Chicago Bulls. Walker Kessler, center, Auburn. I personally think the Bulls are an unknown in terms of the draft. Kessler is an absolute monster defensively in the paint and blocks shots like there's no tomorrow. 19, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Blake Wesley, shooting guard, Notre Dame. This would be an interesting pick for the T-Wolves, who have an abundance of guards. Wesley is a raw player that really didn't impress much in college, but is unafraid to score. Number 20, the San Antonio Spurs from the Toronto Raptors. Jaden Hardy, shooting guard, G League, Unite. Hardy and the Spurs just feels appropriate. He's a player that didn't live up to the hype with Unite, but has a ton of potential that he can unlock. 21, the Denver Nuggets. Usame Dieng, small forward, France. If the Nuggets nail this pick or trade for a veteran, then it puts them among the frontrunners to win the 2023 NBA title with the players that are returning from injuries. Dieng was inconsistent in the NBL, but has tremendous upside with his shot making and ball handling. 22, the Memphis Grizzlies. Kennedy Chandler, point guard, Tennessee. The Grizzlies are just picking for depth on a potential title contender with their selections. Chandler makes a ton of sense with Tyus Jones entering free agency and John Morant being a player that gets injured more often than everyone would like. 23, the Brooklyn Nets from the Philadelphia 76ers. Kendall Brown, small forward, Baylor. With the James Harden trade potentially looking like a win for the Nets, they get a good player here with this pick in Brown. He can come off the bench and provide solid play and athleticism to succeed. 24, the Milwaukee Bucks. E.J. Little, power forward, Ohio State. I don't know if I necessarily love the fit here at the Bucks due to their array of big men. Liddell is somebody that is a little bit older but has improved each and every season at Ohio State. 25, the San Antonio Spurs from the Boston Celtics. Wendell Moore Jr., shooting guard, small forward, Duke. The Spurs, with their third first, get a guy I feel is NBA ready and more. He had his best season as a junior after being thought out as a lottery pick 2 years ago, so this could be a steal. 26, the Dallas Mavericks. Christian Braun, shooting guard, Kansas. The Mavericks should really target guys that should help them right away, considering they have a future MVP in Luka Doncic. Braun is an NBA-ready 3-and-D wing and is good at attacking the rim. 27, the Miami Heat. Nikola Jovic, power forward, Serbia. The Heat are a team, if the board doesn't break their way, can trade out of this pick. Jovic is the safest bet of the international players in this draft, and he's your classic point forward type of player that does a little bit of everything. 28, the Golden State Warriors. Christian Coloco, center, Arizona. The Warriors are a likely candidate to trade out of the spot. Coloco broke out the season for the Wildcats and averaged a double-double and over 2 blocks a game. 29, the Memphis Grizzlies. Patrick Baldwin IV, small forward, power forward, Milwaukee. Baldwin was a massive disappointment this past season with injuries, and I feel he probably should have played for a larger branded program considering the hype he had. Baldwin could rediscover his potential he had coming into college on the right team. And 30, the Oklahoma City Thunder from the Phoenix Suns. Terquavion Smith, shooting guard, into the teens, and using this pick with either a current player or a future pick. Smith is a player that has a good shot and could be a bench scorer for somebody down the road. All right, now I'm going to talk about the Masked Singer finale, which was last night. It was interesting. Prince went first. They talk about how they worked with Ryan Murphy in the past. There was a Broadway sign, there was a cat, and then there was like a pin that said Glee Club alumni. And the song was Viva La Vida by Coldplay. The Glee Club alumni hint to me was big, and I went with Darren Criss. Jenny said Ben Platt, Robin said Ricky Martin, and Ken said Matt Bomer. Firefly went next. There's a basketball net. She talks about coming out of retirement. The keyboard. It was 5, 6, 7, 8, and the 7 was bolded. And she performed Bad Girl by Usher. My guess was Tiana Taylor, as was Robin's. Nicole said Monica, and Ken said Brandy. And then last but not least was Ringmaster. There was a horse with a heart. There was a mouse that made people think of Disney. It was like a princess mouse. And a photo of Simon Cowell. And she performed Gravity by Sarah Bareilles. My guess for Ringmaster, Emily Osment. Ken said Haley Steinfeld. Nicole said Lucy Hale. And Jenny said Hayden Panettiere. And who came in third? Prince. My first impression guess was Alex Rodriguez. Final guess, Darren Criss. Ken said Matt Bomer. Robin said Ricky Martin. Jen went with Ben Platt. Nicole said Cheyenne Jackson. And who was it? It was indeed Cheyenne Jackson. Nicole was right. Cheyenne Jackson. Interesting get for the show. He was in a bunch of films. And he was on Broadway. So, interesting to see him go back to his singing roots a little bit. And then the top two battled it out for the win. And going first was Firefly performing Lost Without You by Robin Thicke. And I thought that was her best performance of the season. And Ringmaster's second performance was Waking Up in Vegas by Katy Perry. Which I really didn't love that song choice for her, low-key. Like, thought it was okay. Not her best. And who won? Firefly. But Ringmaster was unmasked first. My first impression guess for Ringmaster was Emily Osment, and I stuck with her the whole way. Robin said Maren Morris. Nicole said Lucy Hale. Ken said Haley Steinfeld. Jenny said Hayden Panettiere. And who was it? Haley Aranita. An absolute stunner. She was definitely the Rumor Willis of this year. Haley Arantia. She was on the Goldbergs. And she was on the X Factor. So that's how she had a connection with Nicole. So, a very stunning reveal in The Masked Singer for me. Very talented girl. Kind of reminded me of when Jackie Evancho got voted off as the kitty back in Season 3, and Rumor Willis as the lion in Season 1. And your winner was Firefly. First impression guest, Mary J. Blige. Final guest, Tiana Taylor for me. Robin went with Tiana Taylor as the Jenny. Nicole said Monica. Ken said Alicia Keys, which was a terrible guess. And who was it? I was right, Tiana Taylor. I think this is the biggest celebrity unmasked last night. But the irony is that the biggest celebrities of the season was En Vogue, who were voted off 2 weeks ago. So that's the rare instance when the most famous contestant, or somewhat rare, when we don't even see the most famous contestant of the season on the finale. We see that a handful of times, but not all the time. I need to update the fame rankings for The Masked Singer. Maybe we'll do that on the podcast next Wednesday or Thursday. But she has a couple of albums. She worked with Pharrell and Kanye. She was in a bunch of songs. And she had some connections with some of the Masked Singer's past contestants, such as Omarion. And she is married to former New York Knick, Amon Shumpert. So, Tiana Taylor, I thought she was really good in her final performance. But I really thought that Ringmaster was robbed. She was the best contestant all season long. And I really felt that she should have won this season for sure. So I felt that she was robbed. And I thought Prince should have came in second. And Firefly should have came in third. But, yeah, I think this is the worst winner since Night Angel. No offense to Candy Burris, but Tiana Taylor and Candy Burris, I think, are the two weak link winners. And you could argue even Wayne Brady, as much as an entertainer he is and great he was on the show, he probably shouldn't have beaten Chris Daughtry in Season 2. All right, so it was an interesting finale. Not my favorite finale, but an interesting finale, to say the least. Survivor last night. I want to talk about it. It was a really good episode. They were down to 6. They had both a reward challenge and an immunity challenge in this episode. So, the reward challenge is that the players unspooled themselves from a rope wheel before going to a mesh net and a balance beam, collecting a key along the way, then used the key to unlock puzzle pieces, which they had to make into a block puzzle. And first to finish won their choice of 2 rewards back at camp. It was chicken and veggies or chocolate chip cookies and cake. Omar won the reward. And chicken and veggies, Jeff revealed you could bring 2 people, and the dessert you could bring 3. He chose dessert, and he brought Romeo, Marianne, and Mike. And then, immunity challenge, players race through an obstacle course and over a bridge containing puzzle planks, which they used to assemble a staircase puzzle. Then they maneuvered a bag of balls up a pole and used the balls to compete in a table maze. And the first to be done with the maze won immunity. And Lindsay won immunity for the second time as she beat Jonathan yet again. So it was an interesting tribal council. A ton of people thought that the plan was to vote out Jonathan. And then Marianne had 2 votes. So at tribal council, Lindsay did not play her omelet. And Jonathan and Romeo each received 2 votes. but Romeo plus Marian's double vote sent Omar to the jury in a 3-2-2 vote. So, it was wild that Omar got to go home. I thought Omar really was amazing. And he probably should have survived longer on the show. Both Mike and Jonathan voted Romeo, and Lindsay and Omar voted Jonathan. Lindsay and Omar were very close throughout the show, and Lindsay had no idea what Marianne was able to, or was planning on pulling off. So credit to the underdogs in Marianne and Romeo for pulling off that little surprise to get Omar off the show. So your final five that will be in the finale next week will be Jonathan, Romeo, Marianne, Mike, and Lindsay. So I'm going to predict on the podcast next Wednesday who will win Survivor 42, which should be a lot of fun. News and notes time. There's a lot to do in such little time. So we're just going to get going with this. So we're going to do non-sports news first because we were talking pop culture a little bit before. Sad news this morning, or last night, 5 people shot in Philly near Temple University, some in extremely critical condition. Hopefully everybody involved will be okay. Something fun, Taylor Swift addresses NYU graduates and received an honorary degree, which was really cool, as they graduated from Yankee Stadium the other day. Bill de Blasio confirms that he is considering a run for Congress, as he says, "I'm ready to serve." Now sports. Kyler Murray may get a Derek Carr type of contract, as they see him getting a little north of Derek Carr's 3 years, $121.5 million contract. Eagles signed James Bradbury, 1 year, $10 million. Good secondary depth piece for Philly after the Giants cut him. Jameis Winston back on track in ACL rehab as he's begun planting and throwing play action passes and plans to be ready for the start of training camp. We didn't even talk about the Buffalo tragedy and how sad that was on the podcast the other day. But Josh Allen and other players paid their respects to victims of racist mass shooting in Buffalo last weekend, which was a really sad shooting. And thoughts and prayers to all involved. Deion Sanders calls out Nick Saban as he says it's a lie that Jackson State paid top prospect Travis Hunter for a commitment. So this is getting very wacky. And then Nick Saban says that Texas A&M bought every player, as they had top recruiting class last year because they made NIL deal for every player on their team, Nick Saban says. But this is really getting crazy here with the college football recruiting stuff. So last night, obviously Matt Kachuk had the hat trick, and his dad wouldn't throw a hat. And his brother Brady had a great reaction. Charles Barkley beat Ernie Johnson in golf. And it was really funny to see. Max Scherzer leaves game in the 6th inning with side discomfort. We'll see if he ends up on the injured list or not. Chris Paddock has season-ending Tommy John surgery on his elbow. That is unfortunate, as the Twins went out and acquired him. and it just didn't work out. Bryce Harper, not expected to play right field before the All-Star break due to right elbow injury, as he can't throw for 6 weeks. Now, this CP3 thing is getting out of control. And Danny Green's the latest NBA player to defend CP3. And now Pat Beverly claps back at Danny Green as he has Twitter receipts for him. Yikes. The NBA all-rookie team got unveiled last night. And it's Scotty Barnes, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, Evan Mobley, and Franz Wagner. I think that is a solid group of players. Obviously, at the point, you have Cade. At the 2, you have Jalen. At the 3, you have Franz. At the 4, you have Scotty. And then Evan Mobley at the center position. I think that is a great fivesome. Well-deserved to all of them. We talked about Breanna Stewart coming back for the Storm in the WNBA segment. Industry assumption is that Carlos Correa will use his opt-out option and become a free agent after just one season with Minnesota. Not surprising. I think Correa wants the big money deal. Here's some juicy news. Rival executives believe that the Nationals may be compelled to trade Juan Soto amid lack of contract talks. And among suitors will be the San Diego Padres and the Toronto Blue Jays. You got to throw in the Yankees as well, I think. Because they need insurance in case Judge walks. And Soto's better than Judge, too. Hands down. Although Judge is having a better season so far. Been the best player in baseball. But Soto's younger. Judge gets hurt all the time. And Soto just has tremendous upside. And I would trade Anthony Volpe. I would trade a pitcher. I would trade the young outfielder they have, Jason Dominguez. There's a lot of guys I'd give up to get Soto if I'm New York. But we'll see who goes out and lands him. I don't know if Toronto has the assets to make it work. But San Diego certainly does. They can throw in C.J. Abrams. They can throw in Mackenzie Gore. Like, San Diego can make it work. I think the Dodgers can make it work because they're the Dodgers. I made the case for the Yankees. Boston, I think, is a sleeper in this. I think if the Cubs want to be good again, maybe you could throw them in there as well. So there's a lot of teams that I think could be in play for Juan Soto. And the Yankees cut prospect Jake Sanford as he was caught stealing equipment from teammates and defrauding fans. That is not good. He was a third-round pick this past year, and he gets released for doing the wrong stuff. So, not a good look for the Yankees minor league system with that one. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. There's none that I absolutely love for today. I went with the Rays run line yesterday, and I run with the Cubs run line the other day. So for this one, I'm going to lay a unit, and D-backs Cubs is now a pick'em. I like the Mariners first half tonight against the Red Sox. I love George Kirby. I think he's going to be an ace for a long time. We talked about him on the Prospect podcast series that I did Seattle. So first half results, Seattle Mariners, only one unit on it. Plus 140 first half Seattle against the Red Sox. I can't go full game because I don't trust the M's bullpen. So I'm going to go Seattle first half result, plus 140 is my best bet of the day. All right, so that's it for today's show. Tomorrow's a big Friday show. We have to preview the American Idol finale and pick a winner of that. We have more PGA stuff. We'll have NASCAR races to talk about. And we have all the sports and then news and notes and best bet, obviously. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.